City family and everybody on Island City TV to the Coach V Show as I'm hosting and featuring a Hollywood radio show where we have brother Chris Taualii, who is one of the regional vice presidents down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area from Primerica, where he went from a brother that had to do work under the table because he was not a citizen, didn't have a social security card, to now going from $12 an hour when he got that social security card to now living the American dream and breaking the six-figure barrier in terms of his business as being a regional vice president. And so kudos and shout out to Chris Taualii for your example and also sharing your thoughts here on the Coach V Show. And to everyone else out there, you will hear on this show how he feels and stresses the importance of personal development. Yes, do what you have to do to pay bills, but we're not meant to just pay bills and die, but to develop yourself for personal growth. Advance yourself in terms of professional advancement, getting a bigger title, having more opportunity for growth in terms of your profession and making more cheddar, and then appreciating yourself and the people around you that really lubes the wheels of opportunity and advancement. So, Seth, thank you so much for tuning in to the Coach V Show here on Island City, where iron sharpens iron. Together, we rise.
Say, for things to change, say, I must change. Say, if I don't change, say, nothing changes. Say, if I do change, say, everything. Who's ready to get better?
We're trying to look for in all you guys is a champion. The three main things that we try to go by is character, choices, and champions.
What it is that you, me, and we do for ourselves brings progress. What we do for others brings fulfillment. And what we do in both earns success.
You are now tuned in to the Coach V Show.
Welcome to the Coach V Show, your Hollywood radio show for personal development with expert insights and interviews to help you, me, and we work to be our best and live our best life. Where iron sharpens iron, together we rise here on the Coach V Show, powered by Island City, where the beach meets the streets. Today, I am juiced to have one of the homegrown Tongan brothers that has really searched out, achieved, and is living his American dream out in the great state of Texas. My man, Chris Taualii, is the regional vice president of Primerica and is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He has come a long way from coming here at the age of 9 in 1986, not knowing how to speak English, and then self-teaching himself how to speak English by reading the daily newspaper, to not being able to attend college because of not having citizenship and a social security number, along to having to work 80 to 90 hours a week and being paid under the table, and then having to then filing for and taking oath as an American citizen in 2010. I first met Chris back in 2003 while he was volunteering and giving back to his community in the Dallas-Fort Worth area at the Fort Worth Bowl, when he was covering a defensive player for TCU for a nonprofit called Voice of Tonga. Today, Chris is living the American dream with his wife, the former Losimani Hufanga, with their son, who is 3 years old. He is on a mission to help as many families lift their financial burden and become financially independent. I am so excited and juiced, and I'm honored also to have the vice president and one of the vice presidents of Primerica on the show with us today, Mr. Chris Taualii. Chris, welcome to the show, brother. How are you?
Man, thank you very much, Vinny. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the opportunity to get to share a little bit of my story and where I come from, man. So, man, thank you very much. I appreciate this, man.
Man,
can never take this lightly, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. I got your bling bling in the back there for your background. Help us understand who Chris is and start with your genesis point. Where did you start? We already alluded that you come from the motherland that Coach V comes from as well, from Tonga. How did that all start? And tell us your genesis point, Brother Chris.
Yeah, so back in 1986, video, my parents, there was 5 of us. We really couldn't go together, so we had to separate. So me and my younger brother, Sefo, we had to separate. We came over here to the States. My dad's family lives in Australia, Melbourne, Australia. So coming from Tonga, we didn't have much, but our parents always wanted us, of course, and same as yours, to achieve the the ultimate American dream of living life of freedom and actually get to see it. So we came in '86. We had to separate. Me and my younger brother, we came over here and lived with my aunt and uncle in Texas. So my mom went back home and took my other 3 siblings, and they went to Australia. So we had to separate. So growing up over here, I came here in '86, lived with my aunt and uncle. We were terrified of, we don't have Palangi people back home, so terrified of seeing Palangi people at school. It was like a culture shock for myself. So every day I would walk home from school, really, because I had to go to ESL. For those of you guys that came from Tonga, learn ESL, English as a second language. So every day I would walk home. I would literally go home, walk home, and steal the neighbor's newspaper to self-teach myself how to read, because I didn't want to go see the Palangi lady at school. Literally I had to self-taught myself how to read. Came familiar with the sport called baseball. Became a big baseball fan and big Texas Rangers fan growing up. And just growing up, man, we were never had much. We lived off Saimini, but we always wanted something more, and our parents wanted something more for ourselves. So growing up and went to high school at Trinity, Euless Trinity High School. Those of you guys that know Trinity High School is a powerhouse here in Euless, Texas.
Yes.
Grew up, went to school over there, and graduated in '95. Graduated in 1995, and whenever I graduated, I wanted to go to college because I wanted to, achieve. I guess we were taught go to school, go to college, and achieve the American dream.
Yes,
working
sir.
at a corporate job after that. So when we were applying for schools afterwards, it came to a shock because you needed a social security number, and I didn't have one. So
Yeah.
I just found out a few years before that we only came on a temporary visa.
Right.
When we came in '86, our visa expired in actually 1991. So I was actually living in the U.S. as an illegal immigrant.
Yes,
I
sir.
didn't know that. So 1995, graduated, applied for the schools. So it was a very, very shocking for myself because it kind of like, man, it felt like a roadblock.
Right.
Because I couldn't go anywhere. It felt like being stuck. So whenever this happened, just dropped to my knees, man, and say, God, why is this happening to myself?
Mm.
So instead of he showed me a light that instead of crying about it, he made me volunteer my time through church and nonprofit organization. So just volunteer myself, keep myself occupied, get paid under the table, and then a few years later, I came across a nonprofit organization called the Voice of Tonga, and just volunteer myself, giving back to the community, and that's when I realized that my passion and my calling is giving back, helping the community, and volunteer. So what we would do is we would translate. I would cover the sports section. What we would do is translate all the sports and events, and we would have a TV station with the HEB school district, and we would translate into our Tongan language. So because there was a lot of audience that we had in the HEB area, and they didn't speak any English, so we would translate. I would cover the sports section, the football games, and cover the highlights and give back to the community. Had no idea about that. So gentleman named Taualii Hufanga introduced me to the industry and just giving back. So fast forward, and you let me know where you want me, stop by a video, or you want me to just cover everything, or
no, just keep going, brother. This is your show. I'm just a co-pilot. I'm just keep going. Yeah, please.
Yep. All right. And fast forward, Vidi, in 2003, I met my wife at a youth function. I was coming from Texas. She was coming from California. We met at a youth function in Concord, California, and we met over there, and we dated. We dated for a couple months, and we ended up getting married the following year. I didn't waste no time because long distance relationship wasn't the thing for myself. So trying that out, and then we got married, and then and with the blessings of God, man, I finally got my social security number a few years later. After that, so after all these years, really, man, it's you got to imagine growing up over here, man. Man, having that social security number, you feel like you hit the jackpot lottery, man. Because there's a lot of years growing up, man. I wish I had that, growing up. And being an illegal immigrant, nobody knew about this really growing up. All my friends and my family, they knew me. They knew me as just a normal guy, but nobody. We didn't share this with anybody. You show up, you go to school, you go to church, and we didn't share this with anybody except our immediate family. But it was man, it was a lot of emotions, especially 1986 really till 2006. I finally got my first job working at a factory, man. Wow. So that's a lot of years and a lot of emotions coming across that. Just you don't know how it feels, man, but you count your blessings, man. You thank God every day for waking you up, and you get to see that opportunity. And every now and then, really, I joke with my wife and said, I just married you just to get my legal documents, right?
Mari Pepa, eh? Mari Pepa.
Mari Pepa. Yeah. A couple of nights you have me sleeping outside just for teasing her about that, but yeah. But yeah, achieving the American dream, really. So after that, getting my social security number in 2006, man, I would work 80 to 90 hours, man, just to, I felt like I hit the jackpot, man. 80, 90 hours a week. Sometimes, some days I would sleep in my car just to go back to work the next day because I was so excited. I hit the jackpot. This is the American dream. This is what people have been waiting for. Getting the social security number and then actually going to work. And I would do that for a few years, man. And then come to find out, I was rarely with my wife, didn't spend no time. And come to find out, there's a lot more. I was missing a lot. So fast forward to 2017, I came across a gentleman named Jonathan Navarro in Florida. He noticed that there was no offices in the area, west coast of Florida. He introduced me and said, "Man, come partner with me. I'll show you how money works." And he said, I'll teach you. He said, worst case scenario, in 4 years, you can become financially independent. So coming from Tonga, we don't know what that is, man. What exactly is financial independence? So I took a chance, man. I decided to become a student of the game. He showed me because he was at a level where I wanted to be at. So I became a student and be coachable. And he showed me all the ropes. It wasn't easy because you're running your own business. He's teaching you to become a business owner. And coming from corporate America, all I knew was clock in and clock out. But he showed me how I could run my own show and become time and freedom. Time and freedom was what's all about. So he showed me the ropes, man. In 2019, we got promoted out to become regional vice president. So when that happened, I knew my calling was, remember, I got to go back to where it started. I wanted to come back to Euless, Texas, HEB area, to give back to my community. And now it ties everything back together. When I was volunteering with the Voice of Tonga, and I wanted to come back and build and give back, because growing up here in the Euless area, a lot of people in DFW Airport, probably a majority of the Polynesians in the area work at DFW Airport. A lot of them will work 30 to 40 years, and they would end up retiring with no education about their finance. So I wanted to come back and give back to the community. However that be, whether it's educating them about finance, just giving back, helping them understand the importance of insurance, the right type of insurance, and also retirement. Understanding that retirement was a big deal for myself. So that's where and now we get to get back. We came here and I partnered up with a couple of guys, a couple of other regional vice presidents in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and just giving back really. And now with COVID-19, we're just looking to expand nationwide, and that's pretty much my story in kind of a rough, little rough preview of that. Yeah.
No, I love that. And thank you so much for telling us your story, because it's just so powerful, all that you've overcome, let alone the feeling, right? Let's start there. Is getting here at 9 years old and then coming to a point in high school, right? You almost feel ashamed and kind of yeah? Right?
Right.
Like you don't have a social security number. Everybody else is going off to college, and then we're just going to keep this to ourselves and try to figure things out. How did you overcome that feeling of being ashamed? And then you're like, well, that's just the real of it. I'm not going to complain. I'm going to start doing this. How did you overcome? Because so many people they can't go past the embarrassment or what other people feel about them. And they allow that to then they create their own self-sabotage about themselves internally. Right, Chris? What was your thought on that? How did you overcome that feeling of, man, I'm an illegal immigrant. I didn't even know that. I need a social security number. Talk about that, Chris.
Yeah. So back when I was going to high school, Billy, that was I got to see some of my best friends. They go off to college, play ball in college. I got to watch them in high school, and a lot of them just go to university. So I felt like in a way it was man, I'm missing out, man. I need to be doing that. So in the beginning, it was kind of like embarrassed by it, but I had two options, man. Is I would either sit there or feel sorry for myself, or get your butt up, man. Your mom and dad didn't bring you here to be feeling sorry for yourself, or do something about it. So that's what you either complain, man, or you get up and do something about it. So I had to get up and then just keep myself occupied and take whatever God throws at you. That was a big learning lesson right there. So
yeah, that's big time. And then so in that you remain positive. You looked at really what you just need to do to survive, but you talk about opportunity so much versus there's a lot of people right now, and especially people on the right, really feel like that giving out these payments, or people don't want opportunity. They have a social security number, but they don't even want the opportunity. They rather stay home. What would be a message that you would tell someone from your perspective where, man, you got your social security number, you were going 80 to 90 hours a week. How did that opportunity continue? Because you talk so highly about getting that opportunity and excitement, but what would it be a positive message from you to the people out there about, hey man, you can stay at home and collect a check from the government, but there's nothing like having opportunity and go out there and making your own way in life. What's your thoughts on that, Chris?
Right. Yeah. So before that, leading up to my social security number, I would sit and watch people. I was big observer. So I would sit there and observe people. Man, this guy just doesn't know how bad he's got it, man. He's got a social security number. He's not even using it, man.
Right,
so I would just observe their situations. That, man, you give me that social security number, I'll show you what I can do with that, man. I can do big things with that. So growing up and, you know, just watching other people do that. So that was a big deal. And that's what I suggest to everybody, man. You know, the U.S. is known for, you know, the land of opportunity. There's so much you can achieve out here, you know, out here with so much opportunities everywhere, whatever it is that you put your hands into, take advantage of it, you know, take advantage of it. We come here. Remember, we were born here. We were born in this world for, you know, not just to be anybody, just not to be just somebody that's just barely making by. We're born here to live a life of abundance, man. And so many people limit themselves, but, you know, especially coming from Tonga, man, we come from a tiny island, you know, but remember, we're people with big hearts, man. We come here to do big things. So don't limit yourself. That's why I was telling everybody. And that's one of the things that I wanted to come back is I come from a tiny, small knit community, but everybody's bound for greatness, man. So if I can impact just one person at a time, bro, man, my job will be done. So yeah, that's one of the things that I wanted to push, man. Land of opportunity, man. Take advantage of it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And then like meeting up and on the Coach V show, I talk about this all the time, just because of the fact that it's made such a great impact on me is other than my parents, nobody has had a greater and significant impact, Chris, on my life than my spouse. And I think like so many people are casual in their romantic relationships and can get caught up. And I get that's the human part of us, our emotions and lust and all that. But she has been an integral part of my life. Let's shout out the wifey and let's focus on your wife, Losimani, and how integral she has become and she is currently, and just in terms of not only your success and achievement, you breaking into six figures, you now putting in six figure, now blowing up to, you know, promoting 5 future vice presidents and 5 new offices. How integral and important is she in having the right spouse and not being casual and choosing the wrong person for the wrong reasons, right, Chris? How important is that in your business life and your personal life?
Right. In business and in personal, it's very, very important in picking that. And I got something that I've learned. It's, you know, you yourself know that your spouse, you always learn from each other, and a lot of things, it makes you grow. So what I've learned from my wife is adversity, how to deal with adversity. Within a matter of one year, really, she lost 3 siblings. I mean, 2. Her own sister. She lost a sister and both of her parents in a matter of a year. So what taught me from her was her strength. You know, she's able to dust everything off and just having faith in God and just moving on. So she had 2 options. You know, she can take a couple of years to mourn their passing, which I don't blame her if she was willing to. But she saw it in a way was, you know what, I got a husband to support, and I got a 3-year-old that I got to care for, as I'm the only one that's looking to. So one of the things that I've learned from her, man, is adversity, dealing with adversity and just brushing things off, man. There's so many people out there that's got far worse than yourself, man. Why are you freezing, you know? And then the way she was looking at, you know, what would my parents and my sister want me to do? Do they just want me to just freeze everything and just and just focus on them and on the time being, or would they want me to move on? So that's one of the things that I've helped her grow in a way, and also she's helped me grow in dealing with adversity by not making any excuses, you know, if that makes sense. And life moves on, and deal with it with a positive attitude, you know.
Okay. So then I love that. And then thank you for sharing that. And then our condolences to your wife for the passing of her sister and her parents. And then what is it in Concord, California that caught your eye about your wife? Like help the single folks out there figure out, Hey, when you recognize, you better make your list. You better know what you're looking for so you can attract it into your life. But once you see what it is that you're recruiting, right, Coach Taualii, once you see what you're recruiting and it checks off the boxes, you got to have the courage to step up and make an introduction and engagement. Talk to us about how you first met and what are the attributes of her that you're like, oh, this is the one. And we're not doing this long distance. We're getting married. Come on, Chris, help the single folks figure out how to cite what they're looking for and then have the courage to step up and make it happen.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if I can be some kind of a matchmaker, but you know, I'm just a straight shooter. I shoot for it, and if I hit it, I'm going for it. So, yeah, she was at the time. I thought she was more mature than her age. Really, at the time, I was 27 years old. I was coming from our youth from Texas, and she was coming from Florida. The youth from Florida, and she was only 19 years old, really. So I actually thought she was 24 years old. If I knew at the time she was 19, really, I'm not talking to her because But I guess the way she carried herself at a more mature level, I guess, you know, if that's a characteristic. She was very mature for her age, and she carried herself well, and attracted me. You know, that's very, you know, because I'm looking, you know, being 27 years old, really, you want somebody that's more mature and can carry a mature conversation. So those are a couple of pointers that I carried myself. I mean, that I caught my attention, and it attracted me to her. So once we met, man, I gave her my phone number, my job's email address, and all my information, home address, and I made sure that it wasn't going to last for a long distance relationship. I wanted to make sure I put in the bag before it gets too long and I lose her. So,
right on. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that story. So connect the dots here, because I'm hearing California, I hear Dallas, Fort Worth, and I hear Florida. I mean, both for how you started in insurance. So connect the dots for me in the audience of how these geographic locations have had a significant impact on your life and why.
Yep, right. So Dallas, Fort Worth, I came over here in '86 in Tonga. As a matter of fact, our office is actually about 10 minutes from where we came in '86. So I always drive by there, video, and it gives me goosebumps back in the days when I still remember. I know that I don't do it now, but I still remember that same household where I would go steal that neighbor's newspaper. So my advice is, don't, you know, for everybody out there, don't go steal people's newspaper. That's not right. So,
real talk.
Yeah, and Euless grew up in Euless, junior high and high school, and in majority before I got married, my single days before I got married, did the Voice of Tonga over here before I got married, and going to church in this area in the Dallas Fort Worth area. So we met. My wife is from Florida. She grew up in Florida. She's been there like for the past 36 years. She came to Concord, California on the youth function. We were at the time, we were Catholic. So I came from the Texas youth, and we met over there. So when I came, so we got married here in Texas in 2004.
Okay.
So when we first got married, remember, she had a social security number and she had a life. I was an illegal immigrant, and I couldn't do anything but yate and get paid under the table. So we had two options. She could move here, or we can move to Florida and be with her family, and you know, she can work while I would try to apply for my paperwork. So that's when we moved to Florida, and that's where I've been, you know, for the past 16 years in Florida while she was working, and you know, getting the paperwork and making sure I get my social security number and everything. So it's sometimes you sit back really, and a lot of the guys that I work with, and I said, man, dude, you have a story to tell, man. And it's sometimes you get so used to everything growing up, man. You know, nothing was handed to me. You know, you bust your butt for it, and it's just normal. You know what I mean? But then if you really sit back and say, damn, that's a big deal right there. You know,
Yeah.
Not really
Yeah.
not really in a selfish way, but you know, you really sit back, man. That's a long path that a lot of people, you know, it could easily go the other way, you know, if that makes sense. So
No,
sometimes
absolutely.
I just get up every morning, man. I just thank God that, you know, I'm alive. So I count my blessings every day, and you know that there's more out there. You know.
Amen. Real talk. And so there comes a chance encounter where you meet someone who's in the industry that takes both an interest in you, but also sees like, hey, this is a guy that I could make some money with as well in terms of partner. How important was that? Because evidently it's gotten you to where you are today in the industry and the industry you're in. But just talk about this chance encounter. How did that happen? And then what were the main things that really caught your attention that kept your focus like, man, maybe this is my path, and maybe this is what it is that I can claim everything else that I want in terms of my financial stability as well as my life fulfillment, and I could create a life with my family around this. Talk about that chance encounter with the gentleman you met and
Right.
introduced you to the industry.
Yep. So my mentor, Jonathan Navarro, when we first met, really, so it was one of those. It was kind of like a weird introduction, because when we first met, the guy he's about 5'4". I'm about 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
And when we first met, and he said, "Hey man, what's up? You got some time? I wanted to share with you. I'm expanding my financial firm in this area, man. So I'd definitely like to share with you." And I was looking at this guy. He's 5'4". What do you have in mind with myself? I have no
Right.
experience. I'm a factory worker, and you know, my mind was going, what in the world? So when we first met, and it goes to the beginning of the founder of our company, Biddy, our founder of the company, R. Williams. When he founded our business, he was just a regular coach, but he built this business of normal, everyday people who wanted to change, or he wanted freedom for themselves. So that's when I, you know, later down the road, I realized that. But the first encounters, you know, he saw something in myself that I couldn't see. I didn't see it then.
Mm-hmm.
But what he did was he made me see the big picture of what I was about to achieve. The funny thing is, Vinny, he hammered these self-affirmations and positive attitude in myself that you know, he wanted me to see it down the road. So he told me, see it before you get there. There's a vision for your life, okay? I want you to see it before you may not see it now. And Vinny, we were barely scraping and by, and we barely had money in the bank. And he wanted me to say, hey, I'm $100,000 income earner in this business, in this industry.
Right.
So he made me see that, and that was the cool thing about our encounter, was he saw something in myself that I couldn't see, but eventually his goal was to make me see it myself. So that was the encounter, and that's the cool thing about it, is we bring out the greatness in other people. You know, we see greatness in other people. They may see that they're just an employee, but we see everybody as somebody that can do big things here, because, you know, we're all brought in this world to do big things. So that's a couple of things that I can add to that. And now he's you know, it's because we were never taught about money. But if you can start small and teach them how money works, and actually how to work a budget and all of that, then people will start seeing himself. So that's a little bit of our introduction, Vidi. And now he's my mentor. He's taught me a lot about how money works, and just tell me to multiply it. You know, teach other people to do the same thing.
And talk about that, because we hear that in personal development and professional advancement all the time. Is like people say, find the mentors. You were fortunate, your mentor found you, right? But talk to people about how important it is to to find a mentor and find someone who believes in you. Find someone that say, Chris, look out there. Look for what you're looking for, that you're $100,000 earner. And then you hit it, because it's one thing for a mentor to tell you some stuff, but then when the mentor can actually help you achieve it. So talk about that. Talk about two things, please, Chris.
Right.
Is how important is it to have a mentor? And then secondly, how did it feel when you achieved six figures for the first time? Your thoughts.
Right. Yep. So when I was working at my last factory job, really, I was making $12 an hour. This is literally like 3.5 years ago. 3.5 years ago, I was making $12 an hour. So $12 an hour, remember, employee mindset, I just wanted to make $20 an hour. You know, that was a big achievement for myself.
Right.
I want, man, if I can make $20 an hour, man, dude, you throw me in there 80, 90 hours a week, man, I'll come grind for you. So when he made me see that, I said, man, dude, oh my gosh, you know, I wanted to make $20 an hour, and this guy's making me think like I can make $100,000 a year.
A year, yeah.
Yeah. And so the importance of that is finding a mentor is because mentors see something in you that you can't see yourself. They're looking to bring that greatness out of yourself. So what I tell everybody before this video is I would just take advice from anybody. Anybody would just tell me what to do. If they were older, remember older people. And I got to realize after getting in this industry, Vidi, is even though if they're older and you kind of evaluate their situation, man, they're working 2 jobs and just barely scraping it by, you know. And so my attitude kind of changed, and my thinking kind of changed. You know, you seek a mentor where you want to be. Are they at the level where you want your life to be? And what I mean by that is all aspects of life, not just the finance, but you know, mental, you know, health wise as well, and just a family person. You know,
that's
definitely
right.
Definitely don't want to take advice from somebody who's rich, but they've gone through like 6 or 8 divorces. You know,
right.
Yeah. So that was one of the things is if I could tell somebody about finding a mentor, find somebody who's at a level where you want to be, where you want to strive to be, or you actually want to be. So this guy right here, he was 38 years old, financially independent, really. And I just wanted to, you know, be at half of the level where he's at, because that's a big golden dream for myself. But, you know, if I can achieve that, man, we're living the American dream right there, because, you know, and I just became a student of the game, really. He was at a level where I wanted to be, and I just, so you know what, show me the way, show me, you know, and it wasn't easy because he's 5'4". He, you know, a lot of things that he told me, I wouldn't want to just choke the guy, because, you know, he's telling me stuff that, you know, not even my mom would tell me to do. So yeah, but I decided to be coachable and just be a student of the game. So find somebody that can mentor you, and they're at a level where you want to be at with your life.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And that is some great points and very, very valuable insight in terms of why having a mentor. And like you said, right, because I don't flash, right? And I just feel like I don't need to, but what I do flash is really the outcome of any success and achievement, is that I can translate that into joy, peace, happiness, fulfillment, love, and family time. Right? Like having our priorities in order, that's so valuable. But really, I do feel from the financial aspect, and you tell me if you agree, Chris, is that it's really hard to reach someone's heart, mind, and soul if they're drowning in financial ineptness, inability to secure financial securedness, right? Because it's like, no, it's not about the money. And it's so funny because my little brother, when I started making a little bit of cheddar, I would tell my little brother, you know what, more money, more problems. Because in the family, they just don't call anybody when the cabenga comes around, or they need something, or they need help, right? They call the 1 to 2 people in their family network, which is fortunately and unfortunately me. So I would say stuff like, you know, little brother, more money, more problems. And then my little brother would say, yeah, man, but remember, In the hood, no money, bigger problems, right? So really, it's not about the financial success, but it's hard to really develop yourself if you're always drowning and concerned and worried about your finances. Because then when you could secure a certain level, then you're like, okay, I can be that. And not only can I do that, but then I can also translate that into better experiences. Not just a nicer car, which I'm driving the nicest car I've ever had, and it's still only a Kia Telluride. It's a $42,000 car, you know, but that's the nicest car I've ever bought. You know, I've never bought anything like extravagant like a Mercedes. I'm just now going, you know what? I'm gonna try it and look into that, and went and drove a couple of Mercedes, and we're gonna go drive a Beamer this weekend and kind of compare what we want because we've leveled up, right?
Right.
And then so talk about that, about how important it is that yes, it's about God, it's about faith. Everything our Tongan elders tell us, you know, like we don't need money. We don't. Oh, if all we have is God. Yes, but God, like you said, there is a level of abundance it is that we have been created. If you want to be an employee, that's cool. And you want to be that, but definitely you figured out that you were made for more than that. And then so talk to people about how important, it's not all about the money, but it's about the money, right? Come on, Chris, talk to us about that as a financial expert. Come on.
Right, yeah. And one of the things that learned from being in the office over here is I got a guy over here that's one of the regional vice presidents. He's a coach. He's taught me, but that Jacob Webb. He's taught me that basically it's not about the money, but money will sure solve a lot of problems. You know? Yeah.
Or what does Les Brown say? Les Brown's like, it definitely is not about the money, but everybody want to test it out for themselves.
Yeah, money's not a problem. Money's not a problem, but it's up there with the importance of oxygen, is what he was talking about.
Real talk. So, come on, Chris. Yep.
Yeah. So it can solve a lot of problems, and like they say in the Bible, it's money's the root of all evil. No, it's the love of money that's the root of all evil. So it all depends. And God doesn't bless people, the wrong people with the right. He doesn't bless. He only blesses the right people with the right attitude. So if you have a right attitude with money, you'll be able to bless other people with it. So that's a couple of things that I learned from it. Eventually, Billy, that's we came here with nothing. So, but with what we're doing is we're looking to bless. We want to be that go-to person like yourself with your family. If they need something, I want to be out, the person that's out there to help their family out that can't pay their rent for the first couple months. It all depends on what you use it for. If you're using it for the wrong reasons, then you shouldn't have money, man. But if you're using it for the right reason, give back to church, give back to your community. That's what it's all about. It all depends on your perspective of it. If you're here just to buy material things and just be flashy, man, that's the wrong reason. But God doesn't bless the wrong people with money, but he only blesses the right people with money, and just the way of using it, man, and give back. And that's one of the things that I wanted to do was, I want to be that person. Eventually, I want to open up like a community center that can, shelter all the youth over there and in the area, and have them, a place to go to where they can, give back to the community or do something useful instead of being out in the streets. So, yeah. So those are a couple of things, man. It's just the right way of using it, man. It's people can live without it, but people can live a lot better with money in their hands and use it.
Yeah, real talk. And then talk about Chris, how important it is. Because now you're continuing to be the mentee, and because that's what just really grabbed me when we first started connecting. since 2003 and being reconnected this year is like your ability to really just listen, and then going through a couple of interactions via Zoom. And then I really started to recognize how you are an evaluator and you stay aware. But when you started to talk and when you were reading certain things within a module, I was just really surprised. I really was, about your intellect, your ability to really articulate on and using vernacular and vocabulary that's very different than the majority of our people, especially those of us that came here from Tonga. Like both you and I came here from Tonga. I came here earlier at the age of 4, and having to be in ESL classes. But now you're not only still the mentee, so you're still a lifelong learner. I consider myself a lifelong learner and still trying to learn every day. But then now you're also the mentor. How has that been very different and gratifying at the same time, to be able to pass on some of the life lessons and the wisdoms that you've learned from a mentor, from your experience, and now pass it on to now the 5 new regional VPs that you're looking to promote, Chris?
Right. One of the things, talking about that, Vidi, is sometimes I still pitch myself, Vidi. Sometimes in the morning, I get up and just be thankful that I'm alive. But sometimes I got to pinch myself. Wow, this is actually real.
Yeah.
In our industry, we're looking to help people become financially independent, but we're building a team. We're actually building and looking to expand nationwide, building a team. So being able to mentor a group of guys in my industry is it's humbling. It really is humbling. It goes back to how I was mentored in the beginning when I first got here, but also helping them. I gotta give it to you in your show, man. That's awesome, because growing up, we don't know what personal development is. What is that?
Right.
Being Tongan, what is that? But
right.
I got to realize fairly fast in the industry really how important it is, personal development, because if you don't personally grow yourself, they say most people die at the age of 27. They don't even know it. They're just walking around like zombies because you don't give yourself personal development. And I realized the importance of it, and it's something that I pass on to my team, the importance of it, because it's very, very important. If you don't, then you just, that's crazy. You said, man, most people are dead at 27. They're just walking around because they never got to experience it. But that's one of the things, and being a mentor is preaching personal development, and also leading from the front, Vidi. One of the things that are very, very important is lead from the front. I don't ever tell my guys something that I don't do myself. It's always about leading from the front, and that's a very big deal. In where we come from is lead from the front. Show them. We have an example of It's not I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna show you. It's just like a show me attitude. So doing that, man, and just being very observant of people, because when you sit down with, goes in our industry, whenever you sit down with clients, Vidi, they want to see how you're going to receive them, if that makes sense.
Yes,
they
sir.
want they want to be somebody who's very important. So in order to achieve that, you got to sit back and observe. Let them talk. Let them talk and get to know them on a personal level, because our industry, in the financial industry, it's all about relationship. If you don't build relationship with people, man, they're going to they're going next door. They're going to the other guy. So it goes hand in hand with our industry, just giving back and getting to know them on a personal relationship. And they gotta generally know that their best interest is in your hands. So that also adds to it, and Vidi, and just growing, man, just growing and get to know people. It's a relationship industry, and then making them feel like their best interest is in you.
Right, absolutely, Chris. So what is of the myriad of experiences, right? And really, it's just amazing to me that you went from a $12 an hour employee to now regional vice president, six-figure income, and growing exponentially every quarter, right? To now where you are. What is a Chris Taualii message to the world? What would be your message to the world? It doesn't have to be one thing or just one phrase, but you can go over 5 different things or 6, or if it's just 2 or 3. What would be Chris Taualii's message to the world?
One message that I can be is, first of all, always have, thank God, you gotta have a good relationship with God on a daily basis, not just on a once a week basis, like going to church. Have a good relationship with God and know that you are worth a lot more than a job gives you. We're all brought here to live a life of abundance. And that's what we're all here for, man. And basically that's, and also just, living your best life, live your best life. That's what we're all brought here for. Live your best life and achieve the American dream. If you haven't achieved the American dream, it's out there. Go find it. Seek a mentor, man. They'll show you the way. But there's a lot of great ways to live a life of freedom. And we're all worthy of it. We just got to go find it. If you haven't find it, go seek it, because there's somebody out there. You know what they say. The teacher appears when the student is ready.
Amen.
The teacher appears when the student is ready. So that's a couple of things that I wanted to add on there. But and just being, be thankful, man. Because once you're thankful for what you have, God will bless you with more. So.
Amen. I mean, how can you be grateful when you can't be grateful with what you got? Oh man, I love that message, right, Chris. I love that message. Thank you for that message. For those of you that are tuning in right now, go ahead and just throw down on the comments what you think about Chris's message to the world and the value you find in that for all of us, not just the viewer, but me. I am so fortunate that I get to interview these people once a week from all over the globe, from Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, the United Kingdom. And I'm taking notes and I grow from these sessions. So I take that message and I subscribe to that message, Chris. And that's a wonderful one. Chris, how do we find you and how can people get a hold of you?
Yep. So you can find me on Facebook. Name is Chris Taualii, and my cell phone is 941-527-8972. Just shoot me a text, man. Shoot me a text or give me a call. I'm always an open ear, and once upon a time, somebody gave me an opportunity, and my job is to give back, man. Whatever I can do to, if I can, just say a few words or whatever to encouragement. If I can make a difference in somebody's life, maybe once a day, man, I'm good. And you'll get blessed 10 times with that. So yeah.
Okay. And then what about email address? Because some people that don't know other people, they won't reach out via cell phone, but they'd love to write you an email. What's your email address, Chris?
All right. My email address is my last name, Taualii Primerica, Primerica @gmail.com.
Okay.
So
yep. So that's C Taualii Taualii .primerica.com.
Primerica @gmail.com.
Primerica at gmail.com. Got it. Sir. No, thank you for that. And Chris, what is your big project that you're working on right now? Can you share that? Are you able to share what your major focus and really what your mission is for the next couple of quarters?
Yep, good question, Vinny. One of our mission for the next couple of quarters is we've got a team that we're looking to help them open up their own office. So we're looking to in the next quarter is we're looking to open up 5 different offices. I've got a group of awesome guys that are looking to become brokers themselves. Give them an opportunity. When you become the regional vice president in our industry, really you have the biggest contract in American business. So giving these guys an opportunity to become regional vice president, so they can provide a life of freedom for their family, man. That's what I'm here for, man. So that'll be we're shooting for that by the end of December. So look out for these guys. It could be multiple areas in the country. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's our next big project. And next year, really, we're shooting for $1 million in income, man. So
yes, sir. Why not? Why not, baby? In that, let's go shout outs, Chris. Who would you like to shout out on the Coach V show here on Island City? We are broadcasting both on the radio platform out of Dash Radio Studios in Hollywood, California. In fact, Hollywood Boulevard. Who would you like to shout out, Chris? And throw those shout outs now.
All right. I'd like to give a shout out to my Riverside Drive family over there in Fort Worth, Texas. My team, Team Lionheart. That's our team. Is Team Lionheart. We got we come from the jungle, man. So we all got a heart of a lion. My mentor, Jonathan Navarro. My if you're nationwide, worldwide, right? Billy?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, my mom Midas, she's in Melbourne, Australia, and my brother Charlie, and my sister Sela, and my sister-in-law Julie, and my niece and nephews in Australia, Melbourne, Australia. And then just my family all the way around. My wife, of course, Losi, and my little man Sadasi.
Yeah, shout out to Losi and Salesi. Shout out to Melbourne, Australia. We've had guests from out there. And thank you so much for those shout outs as well. Welcome to the hot seat now. We're on the Coach V hot seat on the Coach V show, where I'm going to just be saying a phrase or two as we have time here with one of the regional vice presidents from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Chris Taualii with Primerica. Chris, when I say this Coach V quote, there's money in the transaction, but the wealth is in the relationships, Chris. What comes to mind for you on that quote?
There's money. Oh, can you say that quote again? Please?
There's money in the transaction, but the wealth is in the relationships.
Yep. So it's more about the relationship than the money. If you build that relationship, the money will follow.
Yes, sir. I like that right there. And then what about, as you talk about attitude and remaining to stay grateful, what about this Coach V quote that says, life is struggle, struggle is life, misery is optional, Chris? What comes to your thoughts when I say that here on the Coach V hot seat?
Right. What comes to mind is nothing's handed to you, man. You got to work for it. It may be not fair for some people, but life's not fair, but you got to work for it. How bad do you want it?
Yes, sir. And as we talk about the American dream, here's the last Coach V hot seat phrase for Chris Taualii, one of the regional vice presidents for Primerica down in Dallas-Fort Worth. Chris, when I say you pay the dream before the dream pays you, what are your thoughts on that, Chris?
It's all about you pay the dream by busting your butt up all the way up to the top. And once you pay over there, then the dream will pay you.
That's right, brother. You don't pay the dream until you can bring value to people. Man, Chris, any final words as we close off here on the Coach V show? Any final words, any final messaging? What are your thoughts on being on the show? Your thoughts, Chris, please.
Man, really greatly appreciate the opportunity to come and share a little bit of my story on your show, man. Awesome, man. I love what you're doing, man. The personal development, that's a big time. And I hope, and my thing is, I hope a lot more people, especially Tongans and Polis, can get accustomed and know exactly, understand what personal development is, and it's a big deal, man. It's very a big deal. I like the way you're promoting it, man. That's it's a must. It's not like something that people can have for this day. It's a must. They have to have it. So I hope everybody sees the value in what you're doing, man. You're doing big things on yourself there, and I followed you, man. So kudos to yourself, man, for doing that, and you know, and I hope everybody can see on this, you know, videos just like myself, man, pushing everybody to be greatness, man, because we're all worthy of greatness. We just got to go find it. You know, it's out there, and find a mentor.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vidi.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that final message, Chris. And thank you so much from your busy schedule that you would allot some time to honor us and really give us your valuable insights and wisdom as you went from a $12 an hour guy, a guy that had to work from being paid under the table, to now getting into this 6-figure and then really knocking on the door of 7 figures. I and so many others that are, I'm sure, going to be your fans after watching this on either Facebook Live, on my YouTube channel, or broadcast from Hollywood, California Dash Radio Studios on the Dash app on Island City, are going to be a fan of your story. I mean, once we connected and we got on a real phone call, I was like, man, Chris, would you come on the show? Because your story it has so much success in it, but also that you're really using that to mentor other people and create significance in the lives of others. So really kudos to you, Matt, shout out to you, your entire team Lionheart, because a lot of people will talk about being a lion, but when it's time to do what lions do, that's what separates the Lionheart from those that can't be a lion, right, Chris? So thank you so much for coming on the show. And to everybody else, thank you so much for tuning in to the Coach V Show. And why? Why personal development, right? It's not just for the sake of achieving success, but for the sake of being our best. In doing so, we realize the best of our abilities and that everything and anything that we dream and work for can be achieved. This is how this success coach and the regional vice president of Primerica down in Dallas, Fort Worth, this is how we live, all about faith and family. Grateful for God's amazing grace. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you have not done so, please tune in and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Coach V. And then also, we will see you next Motivation Monday here on the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron. Together we rise on Island City, where the beach meets the streets. Until next time, it is your boy Chris from Dallas, Fort Worth, your boy Biliami Tuibai from here in Elk Grove, California. Ofatu, one love, and God bless.
Peace. Peace. Malo.